Hello friends, welcome back to this best of GMAT series video. Today we have a verbal question here, sentence correction question to be precise. So as usual, before we get into this question and derive some learning out of it, please give it a try so that you know where you stand. All right. So we know this is a sentence correction question. All right. So what is the first step for a sentence correction question? First step is to go through the original sentence. All right. So let's have a look at this. The colorization of black and white films by computers is defended by those who own the film rights. For the process can mean increased revenues for them. All right. So there are some production houses, they have seen old films and they are saying, okay, we are going to put some color uh, in the black and white films and we are going to release those films again and make more money. Makes sense. Okay. Uh, One thing, however, to note here is that there is this semicolon right here. Okay, now what is a semicolon? Semicolon basically is a technical punctuation, rather a technicality to separate two sentences, right? So what that means is that on the left side we have one complete sentence, on the right hand side we have another complete sentence. Okay, and do we see any underlined part in the first sentence? No, there is no underlined part. The underlined part is in the second half of the sentence, right? What that means is that when we come here, we really don't have to, until this point, we really don't have to worry about any errors or anything. Okay. That means from the point of view of solving this question, we should be focusing only on this part, right? So don't be afraid of the length of this sentence, right? There may be some long sentences, but whenever there is a semicolon, reset your thinking, right? Okay, so that's one learning here. All right, so let's focus on this part. Many others in the film industry, however, content that. Okay, we have a verb and we have a that, right? Again, whenever I have something like a verb and a that, let's say I say that, or my mother believed that, right? Whatever happens after that has to be a clause, or to put it simply, has to be a mini sentence which would have its own sentence and verb. Okay, again, that means in a way we are resetting the counter here. Uh, Resetting a counter in the sense that we are going to sort of not worry about this part and only going to focus on this part. Okay, so that is how we have to kind of keep on drilling into the sentence until we sort of make our focus very narrow, and then in that way we will be able to spot the error better or more accurately. Okay, so again, let's start reading from here. The technique, whatever is this technique of colorization, technique degrades major works of art, comma, which they liken to putting lipstick on a Greek statue. Okay, so let's have a closer look at this sentence, right? There's underlined part here, right? If you split this up structurally, this is how it would look. Many others in the industry contend that the technique degrades major works of art, which they liken to putting lipstick on a Greek statue. Okay, now one thing to note here is that there's this word liken. What does that mean? Right? Meaning is very essential to anything on sentence correction. Liken basically means that there are two things that are similar, right? It is basically saying like X is like Y. So what is X and what is Y, right? What are those two things that we want to be similar? The meaning says that the two things that are similar are putting lipstick on a Greek statue is similar to the colorization technique degrading major works of art. Okay, or we could also say putting lipstick on a Greek statue is similar to coloring black and white frames. That interpretation is also okay. It's basically the same thing, just that the words are different. Okay. So basically, what we have learned so far is that I need to maintain the parallelism between these two terms. Okay. And is that parallelism maintained? There is a which here. Technically, a which after a comma refers to the noun phrase before the comma. Now, the noun phrase here is major works of art, right? So it could be referring to major works of art, and sometimes it could also be referring to art because this is of the form X of Y, right? So it could be referring to X or it could be referring to Y. Either way, it is a noun, correct? Whether it's a major works of art or just art, it's a noun, and we are comparing it with an action. Putting is an action, right? We want the action to be similar. That's exactly what the error is, right? So A is definitely not the answer, right? But what is the answer then? The answer would be something that will allow us to maintain this comparison between technique degrades major works of art and lipstick degrades Greek statue. Action to action comparison. All right. Now, once we have this clarity, then it's so much easier to go to the answer choices. Okay, we realize that which is not correct. So this is out. Same error here. This is also out. Same error here. This is also out. Now, mind you, there may be other errors also on this part that we have not seen, right? But uh, in order to solve, one error is sufficient, right? So let's only look at the major errors. Okay, likening it. Now, if I just look at D versus E, what do I get? Likening it to a Greek statue with lipstick. Okay, now this lipstick part, there's no action here, right? That word putting is not put in an action form, right? So it's basically a Greek statue with lipstick. Again, this becomes a noun, so that doesn't convey the meaning. In E, however, what we have is a complete action phrase. Putting lipstick on a Greek statue equals technique degrading major works of art or coloring black and white films, right? So that action to action comparison is correctly expressed here, and that is why E is the best answer, right? So a few concepts here. One was comma which, the other was understanding the meaning to know what is getting compared with what, right? And the third technical learning here was the semicolon, right? So I hope you had some learning here, and happy GMAT.